So, John, you can do absolutely anything.
Damn straight.
What 3 things can you do?
Oh, okay, in the context of this film.
Yes.
Okay. So, first of all, I would erase this film from existence.
Fair. Yeah.
Second, I would resurrect Robin Williams and give him a half-decent send-off.
Okay.
And
So, sorry, you're resurrecting him, but he's still gonna die.
I'm resurrecting him, putting him in a better last film than this, and then letting him die again.
Okay.
I'm just saying I'm giving him a better send-off.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah. No,
I don't want to mess with the powers that be. I'm just saying.
Sure. It's your decision. Carry on.
And thirdly, I would erase you from existence for making me watch this piece of shit.
That's just mean. Think of all the other joyous films I've brought you.
Like?
Lesbian Vampire Killers.
Yeah. You're gone.
Sausage Party.
Yeah. I remain unmoved.
We had some good times, John.
Sure, I mean, theoretically.
Sure, whatever you say.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how hard could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are pitching prequels, sequels, and spin-off ideas to absolutely anything. Unfortunately, by absolutely anything, I don't mean anything. I mean a very specific bad film.
Yes.
We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with the ideas they have posted on our social media pages. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the original movie and catch up with a bit of a plot summary. I am Harry, the host with the most conversations with a Doug.
Yeah, very much true, as always.
And joining me as always, the host with the most disdain for this movie, it's John Lucas.
Look, I tried. I went in with an open heart, but my God.
Okay, let's get started then. So, absolutely anything.
Yeah, so begin by telling me why you chose this film.
Well, to be honest, I'd rather not, but...
Was it personal?
No, well, no, I just, I was listening to Do Go On's latest episode, and they did it on Robin Williams.
Okay.
I've not finished the episode yet. So don't tell me what happens.
Oh, no. It's the OJ trial all over again.
And it just got me thinking, like, okay, let's just, Robin Williams has got a lot of really good films. So, you know what, let's do a Robin Williams film.
I mean, in theory, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, that sounds good. What happened?
Yeah. Well, you chose the last film he ever did before he committed suicide. I mean, you can't really have expected.
I mean, that's not why I chose the film. I didn't intentionally choose his last film. I just was browsing through his film catalogue, and you know, there are a fair few that we've done. We've done a couple of the big ones.
Sure.
And what we've not done either have sequels or like they're not really appropriate for this podcast. And then I saw this one, and I was like, you know, I think I remember the trailer for that. Hasn't that got like all of Monty Python in it? Oh yes, it does. Okay. And, it's got, like, Eddie Izzard and Joanna Lumley and other people in this, and Simon Pegg as the star. Like, okay, I'm not expecting this to be good, but I know this is going to be something.
Okay.
Boy, was I right.
Well, it is undeniably something. It's a thing.
Okay, now I've got a question for you. So, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being, like, this was offending to my soul. I wish that I hadn't watched it and it didn't exist. 10 being pleasantly surprised.
What a mild 10.
I you know, and 5 being exactly what I expected of this film.
Okay.
This was about a 3, maybe a 3.5 for me.
Okay.
So it was less than I expected, but it still wasn't like as bad as it could have been.
Okay.
Where are you at?
I mean, to be honest, mostly I just found this film to be sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
I get that. I definitely understand that.
I think it was because there was so much talent involved in this film. And it was just... it was just like watching them all drown.
Yeah.
In terrible, terrible material.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, like, what is this the worst film you've ever inflicted on me? And I was like, well, okay, so there's Love Actually, which I personally hate, but I also recognize is a legitimate Christmas classic, and a lot of people really like it, and so I can give that a pass. And you know, there are parts of that film that aren't completely atrocious. And then the Sausage Party, which was a struggle. But I can understand if you were like super baked and in the right frame of mind, that film might be somewhat funny.
Yeah. God, that was bad.
Yeah. And then I'd kind of come to the conclusion this was the worst one.
Yeah.
But then you did remind me of Lesbian Vampire Killers, and that is close. Because the thing with this one, maybe this is worse because there's one thing that
I think this is worse.
There's one thing Lesbian Vampire Killers has on this, and that is tits.
Oh, okay, sure.
Not for me personally, but I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to think, would anyone enjoy these films, or is it just me? Like, people like Love Actually, people like Sausage Party.
Yeah.
I assume there are some very horny, very lonely teenage boys who had a good time with Lesbian Vampire Killers.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah. I can't imagine anybody enjoying this film.
Yeah, I wonder what state you have to be in or who you have to be to enjoy this film.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
I can see how I can kind of imagine how it happened because it is a Monty Python reunion, and we'll get to what a crock that is. But like, I can well imagine because everyone in this film is a middle-aged, mostly British person, with the exception of Rob Riggle, who is a middle-aged American person.
Yeah.
But most of the people who appear in this film, Simon Pegg, Kate Beckinsale, Eddie Izzard, Joanne Lumley, there's a wealth of talent in this movie. Sanjeev Bhaskar, Meera Syal. I can well imagine people who grew up in the 70s who, worshipping Monty Python in the 80s and then get told, oh, you can be in the first film Monty Python I've ever done since Life of Brian, or I think it's, no, what's the one? It was Meaning of Life. That was the last one they did.
Yeah, sure.
It's the first Monty Python reunion on a new film since Meaning of Life.
Yeah.
Of course these people are signed up for it. Like, fuck yeah. It's like why people still sign up for Woody Allen movies. It's like, oh yeah, he used to be amazing. And then I just imagined like the depression that must have sunk in when they read the script and got on set and were like, oh no. Oh, this is so depressing. Yeah. It's so sad.
Yeah.
This is a film devoid of good jokes. And well, the other thing is like, this was directed by Terry Jones of Monty Python fame.
Yes.
Who
and co-written.
And co-written, exactly, yes. And he died shortly after making this film.
Right. Did he? No, he died this year.
Was it this year? Well, he died a few years after.
He died.
Not like the next day.
He died 5 years after the release of this film.
Sure. Okay, but the point I'm making is before he died, he was suffering from senile dementia.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I wonder if he was already suffering. I'm not being mean. I'm genuinely being serious. I wonder if he was already. I think he was diagnosed before he made this film, but I wonder how advanced it was when he was making this, because it does feel like a film that was written and directed by someone who wasn't quite in full possession of his. It wasn't firing on all cylinders.
Okay, yeah.
Because I honestly, I'm not saying that to be mean, but I just mean like there were moments in this film that I could see. Oh yeah, I can see how that's like a shadow of a glimpse of a Monty Python sketch kind of thing.
Like the racist skeleton?
Yes, exactly. I was like, that could have probably been a decent Monty Python sketch.
I can see that. Like, oh, I can see what they went for here.
Yeah, but it just didn't. It was just a bit sad.
Yes, it really. Yeah,
it was just like these jokes aren't landing.
Yeah,
and so you could tell because nobody in this film felt like they cared. Like,
no,
it was very half-hearted. All of the acting was very kind of middle of the road and just.
Who was the biggest disappointment for you?
Maybe Joanna Lumley, actually, just because she's in it so very little.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like Simon Pegg is probably trying harder than anyone else is trying. Still not really, but
yeah, I feel like there were still some things in this that Simon Pegg sort of bordered on funny at some points in this.
Yeah,
I mean, he was given some terrible material to work with.
I think if he and Edgar Wright had written it,
it would have been something completely different.
Yeah, it would have been a better film.
Because this was adapted from a Douglas Adams story.
Oh, is it?
Like Guardians of the Galaxy, Douglas Adams.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, sorry.
What? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Like, what?
Yeah, like I can definitely see that. Okay. So I was kind of thinking that before. Just like I can see some similarity to Hitchhiker's Guide here. Mm-hmm. And then look it up and it's the same.
Well, I guess they had similar humour. Those books have similar Monty Python-esque kind of absurdist humour.
Definitely,
so that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just it was a very bad adaptation. I think your theory is quite interesting on it.
Well, I also, in terms of who was the most disappointing, I think it's hard to answer because I feel like other than Simon Pegg and maybe Kate Beckinsale, I think everyone in this film filmed all their scenes in the space of like a weekend.
Yeah.
Like
Did you notice the scene with Kate Beckinsale in the coffee shop fairly early on?
Uh-huh.
Did you notice how fake it all seemed? There was something completely off about it. In editing, can you just put the clip in?
Sure.
But yeah, it's her and her best friend. They're having coffee in a coffee shop, and it's very badly green screened for both of them.
Yeah.
And it's not even like an extravagant coffee shop or anything. It looks like a very basic set, but it's very badly green screened. And there is no background noise. They sound probably like we sound right now, like we're just recording in a room.
I did notice some weird ADR in this, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Like, how difficult is it just to get sort of the background noise of a coffee shop, or just like a little bit of background music or something that doesn't sound like they're just sitting in a slightly echoey room or a warehouse and recording these lines on a green screen. It was really weird, because the rest of the film, not that it was particularly good looking, but it didn't all look terrible.
No, I did notice a similar thing in the opening scene though, with where all the dogs go in the dream sequence with all the dogs.
Oh yeah,
I noticed that was some very, very obvious like ADR, like dub, like Simon Pegg was having self dub.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, that's it felt amateurish. That was like,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like a film that had been directed by a man who directed other better films. It really was like, you've turned up at the family reunion and Grandpa's not been quite right recently, and it's a bit sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that really.
What about Grant? Oh, well, Colonel Grant turned out to have issues. Issues? Yeah, like being clinically insane. Shame? Maybe that's overstating it. Just obsessive, possessive, and pathologically jealous.
What about him upstairs?
Oh, he tried to cheer me up in the supermarket.
Oh, so he's gay.
What?
Well, he's sympathetic, interested, available. That's the way life works.
No, he's not gay. He's very likeable.
Shall I do a plot summary then?
Sure, yeah. I mean, good luck.
Okay, so we start off in Simon Pegg's dream. I'm not going to attempt any character names.
No, he's called Neil.
Cool. Well,
Yeah, he's Simon Pegg now, but just for the record, he's called Neil.
Okay. And he is an author, and he has just won this book award or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a dream, and lots of dogs come and run him over.
Yeah, it's like the launch party for this book, and Kate Beckinsale's there, and she's saying, "Oh, how did you get to be the greatest writer of all time?" And at this point, not realizing it's a dream sequence, I was like, "Well, this is a bit heavy-handed."
I clocked it was a dream immediately.
Well, I was relieved, because I was relieved it was a dream. I was like, "Okay, that's acceptable that this is a dream sequence."
I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what this film is, and like I say, I was mostly right, and like I'm very sure that the main character is not doing well for himself at the start of this movie.
Well, this plot line it sets up in the beginning, then, because he wakes up from this dream, and it turns out he's actually a struggling writer.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get his book finished.
Yeah.
And Kate Beckinsale, who's his love interest, works at a book publisher's or for a book.
And happens to be his downstairs neighbour.
Yes. Oh no, she's a researcher for a book review TV show. Yes, but she works in the industry. Anyway, point is, the early film sets this whole thing up, and then it just disappears. Like we never come back to him as a writer again.
No.
It never resolves at the end. He never finishes his book. At the end, he never mentions, "Oh, I'm going to keep trying." Like this whole "I'm a novelist" thing just completely disappears.
Yeah, I don't really think about that.
Yeah,
Afterwards,
it totally vanishes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So he's a school teacher, and on his way out of the building, he bumps into her, and we meet her for the first time, and
Yes.
kind of get introduced to her.
She's the sexy neighbour downstairs. Yes.
Yeah,
The unrequited love interest.
Yep, who he has a big crush on, but he's a bit of a loner. It's just him and his dog, who will in about maybe 80 minutes time of this 86-minute movie become Robin Williams.
Yes, I was disappointed it took that long.
Yeah. Basically, as I picked this as a Robin Williams movie.
Yeah, that was a mistake on multiple levels.
Yeah, I mean, I basically knew it wasn't a Robin Williams movie by the time I picked it, but
Sure, yeah.
So
he's in love with Kate Beckinsale. He's an unhappy high school teacher.
yeah, so he goes to school, and you see him in his class. All the students, they're all the worst students, largely unrealistic, I think, of just literally everybody up and shouting, and not even a single person listening to the teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, my school was a fairly alright school, but I just never had anything near a class like that.
Yeah. This film is painting in very broad strokes. There's not a lot of nuance going on. Yeah.
The head teacher is broadly evil.
The head teacher, played by Eddie Izzard, yes. Who actually, to be fair, I didn't like his performance, but I thought it was...
It just wasn't awful.
No, he's like against type, because you think of Eddie Izzard as like very flamboyant, and the way he dresses and the way his comedy, and he's very like eccentric. And in this, he's playing this very like straight button down, like.
And that's what I was expecting to happen later in the film,
Like
when
he'd
Simon Pegg gets
express
the powers, and he makes Eddie Izzard do like some really weird things, like, oh, you were a mean headmaster to me, so I'm gonna like make you do really embarrassing things and dress in pink and stuff, which is a joke they use in this later.
True, yeah.
Like just stuff like that.
They never really gave a nod to the Eddie Izzardness of Eddie Izzard.
It was,
but I at least found him to be mildly amusing, and I mean mildly. Like,
very mildly.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Like I think he's in 3 scenes in total.
Yeah. Yes, he's not a big part of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't a big part of this.
No, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people popped in, ticked the box, said, I've been in a Monty Python movie, and then scarpered as fast as possible.
Yeah. But yeah, so you see a single day in his life, really, and he's just a sad, lonely man. Nothing seems to work out for him. Also, one of his teacher friends at school is in love with another teacher.
It's Sanjeev Bhaskar, yes.
Sure. And she doesn't fancy him back at all. In fact,
well, that's the other thing. She seems to be a horrible person.
She seems to be pitched as a horrible person.
Yeah.
Because this film is very badly written from a man's point of view.
Oh yeah. I mean, we'll talk about how badly the women are written. But like,
it's not how badly the women are written. It's
everyone's written. Yeah,
it's how badly the men are written.
It's equal opportunities. Yeah. But I just mean that like it's not that she's like some like lovely, unrequited love. Like Kate Beckinsale's character seems like a very nice person.
Yeah.
You can understand why Simon Pegg would have fallen in love with her, and that's fine as this kind of movie goes. But Sanjeev Bhaskar, A, she seems like she's probably about 15 years younger than him, and B, she's actively horrible. So at no point do you actually think, oh yeah, I really hope he gets with her. Because like it makes him look worse because he's like mooning over this horrible woman who's way out of his league and is a lot younger than him. Like,
yeah,
I know he's not like the story, but
I didn't really think that she was being horrible to him. I think that she was just
very dismissive of him.
I think she was just kind of putting down somebody who was pestering her.
Actually, yes. To be fair, he was.
That's more how it came off to me.
Yeah, that's also true. He was definitely like pestering her a lot. So you're right. Yeah, nobody comes out of this well.
No, not at all. Yeah, and so then we cut to. Space, yeah. I mean,
we opened with a lot of like weird stock footage of space that went on for a long time.
It gets a little convoluted. So humanity has sent out a satellite at some point. It's basically like Voyager or Voyager 2.
Yes.
Satellite out into the cosmos with a little plaque saying, hey, we are mankind, we come in peace, here's a picture of us or whatever, here's where we are on a map. Which is a thing that we've kind of done, I guess.
Okay.
In this one, it gets picked up by aliens, and these aliens, what are they, like, rule the universe or something?
They are, I wrote them down, they are the Intergalactic Council of Superior Species.
Okay, that's very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. And they are like CGI aliens.
Yeah.
And they are all voiced by the cast of Monty Python, which is how the Monty Python reunion, quote, air quotes.
Yeah.
Because they probably all recorded from their own bedrooms, their voiceover scenes, and these sequences are terrible. These are not worthy of the name of Monty Python.
So bad.
They go on for so long.
They do. And it's just that the first one, it's for a solid 5, maybe even 10 minutes, it's not in English. It's just them making up a language.
Yeah.
And it sounds horrible. It's like in Star Trek Discovery Season 1, where they just they went overboard on the Klingon language and subtitles. And it was like, oh, this is actively unentertaining.
Yeah.
Like, this is taken away from what was otherwise a great show.
Yeah.
And this was making the film worse with every second.
Yeah.
And the film was not on good standards already.
No, but I was to say, like, I like Monty Python. I'm a fan. Like, I'm not like a super fan, but I grew up on those films. I like them. So in theory, I could get very excited about having them all back together. But honestly, every time it cut to the alien council scenes, I just tuned right out. Because the noise was horrible. There were no jokes.
No.
It was just unbearable. And it looked ugly because the CGI obviously is crap in this film. It was just awful.
I was fine with bad CGI. I feel like dodgy CGI for something like this.
Yeah, you don't expect much better.
It's fine. It's basically a cartoon. It's fine. But it's just that there was nothing else good.
No. Well, I think if you're gonna have a film that's bad, you should make that like part of the punchline, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me of, again, Lesbian Vampire Killers, where like the effects were terrible, but it wasn't terrible in a way that was funny and like wink, nudge, nudge about like campy, low budget British horror movies. It just looked bad. And it just looked really bad. And that was all there was. So
Whereas, like, you compare it to, say, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I forget the villains' names, but they weren't CGI. They were all in practical suits,
which is
like,
always better for me anyway.
Definitely, yeah. But you could very much tell that these are just people in suits.
Yeah.
But it's fine because the film is so well written, and it's written to welcome that.
Yes.
Like we know this is cheap and it's silly and it's
all the old
great.
I mean, obviously it predates CGI, but all the old Monty Python stuff, they had really ropey special effects, but that was part of the humor.
Yeah,
you know, like
big time.
Holy Grail is full of ridiculous, like, you know, the holy hand grenade and the bunnies and all the claymation stuff whenever anyone died. But it was really funny because it was part of the, you know, the joke. Whereas this was just. Oh, it just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
I really disliked it. But
it was
anyway.
too much talking.
Yeah.
Not enough of it was in English.
Yeah.
Because after a while, they do come up with some reason why they need to speak English now. Yeah. And then from there, it was like, okay, great. Well, now I can at least understand you.
Yeah.
That's the minimum I need from this.
Because there wasn't even like a dynamic between the different characters. You didn't get a sense that, this is the funny alien and this is the mean alien and, you know, this is the grumpy alien. Like, it wasn't like John Cleese was doing his thing and, you know, Terry Jones was doing his thing. It was all just like... They were the exposition dump, basically. They were just dumping exposition.
Yeah.
By the power invested in me by the Intergalactic Council of Superior Species, I hereby pronounce a destruction order on the planet Earth.
With great respect, Sharon, we should not pronounce a destruction order before we've given these Earthlings a chance to prove themselves.
Good! They've penetrated intergalactic space!
Maureen is right.
They're clearly not a superior species! Look at the way they copulate!
If these Earthlings can convince us that they are superior beings, then they may join our society. If they cannot, we must eliminate them for the moral well-being of the entire intergalactic community.
Thank you for explaining it to me, Sharon.
Not at all, Miss Barker.
So they discover Earth, and basically their way of judging if a planet should be allowed to survive or if it should be destroyed is to just pick one random person, give them infinite power, and see what they do with it. If they do good things, then they're allowed to live and join the council or whatever. If they do bad things, then their entire planet gets destroyed.
Yes.
So, you know, by that, fairly simple. That's the plot, really.
Yes.
It's dead simple when you put it like that.
Yeah.
But
they pick Simon Pegg's character completely at random.
Yes.
They just do like a little scroll through. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they almost picked Sarah Palin, which would have been a better movie. But
that was an all right joke.
Yeah, that was like, oh, okay. I was like, that was a joke. I mean, this film came out in like 2015. I feel like a Sarah Palin joke is very much dated by that point, but sure, okay. Do you even know who Sarah Palin is?
Tina Fey?
Yeah, well, yes, sure, yeah. But she was,
that's pretty much all I know.
She was a story in like literally 2008. Like the fact that they were still making jokes about it in 2015, they needed to update their references a little bit. Like,
Great.
It's not like she's an enduring figure in the world. You know? Anyway, but yes, Simon Pegg is selected randomly out of everyone in humanity, and he is given, unbeknownst to him, he's given ultimate power in all of the universe. Like he can make anything happen just by speaking it into existence and waving his hand, and it happens. Yeah. Now, this I think is the fatal flaw of this movie.
Okay.
More than anything else. I mean, obviously the bad writing, but on a fundamental level, I think this is never going to work because it's too easy for him to solve any problem that he might have. Theoretically. In practice, he makes a lot of mistakes, but like, there's no limit to his power.
Yeah.
As long as he can literally speak and wave his hand, he can do literally anything. And there's so much of this movie is just like, you could fix this so easily. Like, I think if you're going to give someone like...
He does that at times, but like he never does the same fix for something multiple times. Like, so it starts off, the first thing he does, which really sets the tone, is a van driver knocks him off his bike, and Simon Pegg says, "Oh, screw you," and then the van driver just very comedically has an orgasm face, and the van sort of drives from side to side.
Yeah, what was happening there? I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know. Just leave it to your imagination. But the van driver seemed to enjoy it.
He seemed like he was enjoying it. Yeah. Because the wording was "screw you."
Yeah.
So I was like, well, he's being
screwed by Simon Pegg.
He's being screwed by clearly someone invisible because you can't see anything. Like,
he's sitting down.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what are the mechanics of this?
Yeah. I was wondering that too.
Yeah. Like.
So I don't know. Let's move on from that.
We'll draw a veil over that. Yeah, but I do have questions.
Yeah, but like at one point he says like, "Oh, I wish the aliens would attack my classroom," and like that happens. His classroom gets destroyed. People die. Whatever.
38 children are dead.
I know.
This is a dark joke.
Yeah,
and I'm here for a dark joke, but it just didn't work in this film. Like,
didn't quite. No,
they hadn't earned it.
No, and so then he works all this out, like when he gets home, because he finds that his dog, as he previously wished in a day, regurgitated chapter 3 of his novel.
Yes.
Fully intact. And he's like, oh my God. And then he works it out and he says like, oh, I wish that everybody was alive again. And then it's like a zombie apocalypse thing. And I'm like, okay, this film is ramping up really quickly. Not sure if this is where I want it to go. And I mean, you know, it gets really bad. And then eventually he says like, put things back to the way they were. No. Actually, no. First of all, he says like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. Let me know what to do."
Yeah,
that was good. That was smart.
That was okay. Yeah,
I liked that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." And so then he says, "Put things back to the way they were this afternoon."
Yeah,
and then just it time jumps back to that afternoon. I was like, "Okay, that's an interesting fix."
Yeah,
this could get confusing and frustrating if it's just going to be a time jumpy film. And they move on from that very quickly, and it never comes back.
No, he never does the same thing twice.
Exactly, yeah. Like that's like in universe, that's a very good undo for all of his mistakes, which he constantly makes.
Yeah,
but he never uses it again.
No, but basically the important thing to note is his power is he speaks something into existence. But a lot of the comedy quotes of this film is that he will say something, but he won't word it very well, and so what happens will be very literally what he asked for. So when he wishes without realizing that his entire class will be hit by explosion or something, and then all of his kids die, and then he says, make everyone who died come back to life again, and then rather than just his kids, the entire world, everyone who's ever died. And so so it's a lot of that. It's a lot of him like saying the wrong thing and then having to backtrack. But he sends himself back in time. You're right, he's back in this class. No one's dead.
And so then he explains it to his teacher friend.
Sanjeev Bhaskar's character exists only to make Simon Pegg. Do you remember that really weird inorganic scene where they're just having a conversation? This is beforehand, sorry. I'm going back a bit. But when they're in the cafeteria the first time, and Sanjeev Bhaskar's just had that run-in with the pretty teacher who doesn't fancy him, and then he just sits down and out of nowhere just says, what would you do if you could do absolutely anything?
Yeah, it's weird, right?
So that Simon Pegg will say things that will then happen without his knowledge. But it was so inorganic. Like,
I mean, there was a bit, again, slightly before that, where Simon Pegg is just getting food from the cafeteria, and the dinner lady's like, "Oh, what do you want?" And he's like, "Oh, roast headmaster."
Yeah, I was disappointed. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, that was a good opportunity to really go dark, but it didn't happen
at all. Like, did that get cut or what? Like,
he didn't wave his. It was very inconsistent. He didn't wave his hand, so I don't know.
I feel like that's just a weird thing to say if you're not going to do that joke.
I know, yeah,
because doing that joke would be. I mean, it'd be weird, and it wouldn't necessarily be good, but like.
No, if this movie had gone like full dark, like yes, he eats his own headmaster and he kills all of these 12-year-old children. If it had really committed to being a bleak comedy, I could get on board with that.
Yeah,
but it didn't work.
No.
But yeah, so he's back now. He's wished all the kids back to life. He's back in the cafeteria with Sanjeev Bhaskar.
Yeah, and so he's trying out a few things, and he walks past the headmaster. And headmaster is just telling off some of the other teachers because he's a mean man. And he says, make the headmaster be nice to me. And then the headmaster just comes and just gives him loads of compliments, says he likes what he's wearing, stuff like that. Again, really not as like flamboyantly as I was.
No, this could have been like a complete transformation of the headmaster character. But it was just.
It could have turned him into just literal Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, go for it.
And that would have worked really well.
Yeah, if he'd said like, oh, make the headmaster lighten up a bit, and then he becomes like, full Eddie Izzard. That would have been great.
Yeah. See, I think you just did it there where you said, make the headmaster lighten up a bit.
Yeah.
They could have just made him light, as in visually.
That's what I mean, because he's always in the black.
That's the kind of literal
that would have been
that
really,
Simon Pegg keeps saying. So yeah, like I saw what they were going for some of those. Then he tries to tell
Sanjeev Bhaskar
what's going on and shows it by saying, right, make this skeleton be alive.
No, he says, make this... I think he says something like, I wonder who the skeleton used to be. And he's like, let's find out.
Okay, yeah.
Implying that
it's a real skeleton.
Yeah, that in classes up and down the country, we have actual decomposed corpses hanging in our classrooms. It's like, what? That was never... Plastic skeleton. Come on. But, yeah.
Yeah. And so it turns out that this skeleton is broadly racist on many different fronts.
This is the thing that felt the most like a Monty Python sketch.
Yes, but then also the biggest swing and a miss.
Yes, it could have been. Yeah, if this was written in the 70s, it would have probably worked. But
I guess, sure. But this film, it really, really turned me off Monty Python writing.
Yeah,
it's just like,
a lot of it has aged poorly.
I know, and that's
yeah. And this is an example.
This is an example of it.
Yeah.
Because, if you look back to, say, Fawlty Towers, for example, a lot of that is just, like, people are racist.
Yeah.
And that's the joke. It's like, this isn't fun to watch.
No.
This is not fun at all. And this was definitely that, but worse.
Yeah.
He says so many racist
Yeah, he just goes on a racist ramble. And
yeah. So many taboo words. And it's I don't know, it's just very unpleasant.
Yeah.
I really didn't like
it. A misjudged joke, for sure,
Yeah.
You, tell us who you were.
You'll never believe this, but I was a conjurer. I went by the name of the Great Alfredo. Real name was Reg Hoskins. I did variety, clubs, private parties, the lot.
Was this 3D projection or something, right?
Oh, of course, it's all gone now. I blame the wogs.
Hey.
All that black minstrel stuff. Once they started allowing that...
That's not me, that's what I'm saying. It's
Jews took over the business. It's never the same again.
Hey, just go and jump out the window.
Righto. What's this?
And this comes to Louise's favourite part of this movie, where Simon Pegg then says, "Oh, just jump out the window." Skeleton jumps out the window.
Yeah.
And then, like, a minute later, Eddie Izzard walks up, just comes into the room with the skeleton. And what was the friend's name?
Sanjeev Bhaskar.
Cool. Whatever. He just says, "Sanjeev, did you throw this out the window?"
Yeah.
And just for some reason, Louise just absolutely loved it because it just felt like the most realistic part of this movie.
Okay.
Because it kind of was, if you think about it. You're just walking out and a skeleton falls out the window. You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What happened? So, yeah, I don't know. And then from here, is this when Sanjeev gets the really creepy bit where he says, like, "Oh, make that teacher that I fancy worship me"?
Yes, so Simon Pegg grants...
Which he had already said beforehand, before he knew Simon Pegg had the power. It's like,
Yeah.
I wish that she worshipped me.
Yeah.
And then he asks it again. And that's... See, he says that phrasing, make her worship me. And then Simon Pegg says, "Okay, she worships you now." That feels like phrasing that you should have worked out already.
Yeah.
That's going to go wrong.
Well, that's the thing. The character can't ever learn his lesson because he has to keep making the same stupid mistake. Because otherwise, he'd be invincible. If he realized he just had to word things very specifically, you know, it's like in Aladdin. Aladdin figures this out in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's a cartoon, so
yeah.
But yeah, so he says, "Let this woman worship Sanjeev Bhaskar," and she literally, you know, she not only fancies him, she worships him as a god, and sets up what ends up being some kind of death cult around him.
Yeah. Where they want him to die so that he can be resurrected.
Him. Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like the film didn't spend enough time with them, but also I didn't want to see any more.
No, yes. This could have been like a whole subplot, but it just kind of came and went.
Yeah. What happens next?
Oh, God. I mean, what does happen next? So, I mean, we've jumped around.
We've not introduced what's-his-face, the American guy.
Okay, so all this is going on. Simon Pegg is coming to terms with these new powers he's got. He's trying them out with varying degrees of success. Meanwhile, Kate Beckinsale, his love interest, she is working as a researcher for a book review TV show hosted by Joanna Lumley, who's in this film for all of 2 scenes.
Yeah.
And she's like a mean interviewer who I don't understand why any self-respecting author would go on her TV show. Because it seems like she just shits on their book and openly hasn't read them. So I was like, well, what's in it for these authors?
Yeah.
But anyway, Kate Beckinsale is very unhappy with this role because she feels like it's cynical and that the woman doesn't really care about literature, and she does. And she has a little cry in a supermarket, and Simon Pegg comforts her, and it's a meet cute, etc. So they've got their little meet cute set up, but at the same time, Kate Beckinsale is trying to kind of shake off an ex-fling from when she went to America the previous year, who's this American soldier.
I think so, yeah.
Played by a comedian called Rob Riggle, who's like, I think more well-known in America. But anyway. But
he's from Modern Family, right?
Oh, yes, he was in Modern Family, yes. He's one of those that guy actors. But anyway, so, yes, she's trying to shake him off, and he is incredibly insane and a stalker, and he basically flies from America to England and just starts following her around and just yelling at her and trying to make her be in love with him.
Yeah.
So she's kind of trying to deal with that.
And in shaking her off, she gets rescued by her older male colleague, who is also very much into her.
Yes.
And really trying to get a date, and even has like creepy sort of fourth wall breaks at a camera when she's not looking.
Yes.
To just be like, I'll get her later.
Yes. Yeah, she exists just to be lusted after by all of the men.
Yeah.
So
she's
just boobs on legs in this movie.
Yeah. Well, also the men are just like cartoons with eyes popping out of their sockets.
Exactly. Nobody has a conversation like an adult in this film.
No.
Everything is about, like, this film would not pass the Bechdel test. All the guys are talking about how much they want the women, and all the women are talking about the guys, and that's all there is. But at one point, Simon Pegg rescues Kate Beckinsale from this American guy, and they have a little dinner date, I think is where we're at.
Yeah.
And Rob Riggle climbs up the drain pipe or something and looks through the window and sees them on this date.
Yeah.
And goes mad with rage, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. His character made me angry, really.
He would...
Because I feel like everybody who's not acting like a real human being, they're only acting that way in relation to how he's acting.
Yes.
You know, like there's the bit where he breaks into her house and is waiting for her when she gets home and won't leave. And so she leaves and like locks him in and stuff. I feel like a normal person would call the police.
Yeah.
At that point, just like, there's a man in my house and I don't want him to be there and he won't leave and he broke in and...
Well, that's it. This whole film
Like,
hinges on
that-
nobody
that's-
doing
that-
the obvious thing.
That's grounds for arrest.
Absolutely. In a film full of like one-dimensional characters, he's the most paper-thin character.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing to this guy at all. He literally is just this weird, crazed stalker, but not in an interesting, threatening way. He's just like never goes away or backs off, and just it's really not good.
I'm out of here!
There's nobody else, huh?
Who is this guy?
She didn't tell you? I'm her fiance.
You're not my fiance, Grant.
Oh, yeah? And you weren't just making out with this apology of a man?
Stop this.
You know how long you'd last on a battlefield, soldier?
I'm sorry, Neil.
That long.
I'm warning you.
You're warning me?
Yeah, I'm warning you.
Who is this guy? Don't you suck on this, asshole.
So they have their little dates, and then they have... Well, I think what comes first, the date or the sex? Because they have sex. I think they have sex, then they go on a date, right? I mean, him and Kate Beckinsale and Simon Pegg.
Yes.
Because she decides he loses his powers very briefly.
Oh yeah, there's a power outage or something.
Yeah, but he doesn't... This was just because, again, they...
That also didn't really go anywhere.
No, I think it was just so that they could have the moment at the end where it's like, you really did want to have sex with me? I didn't just... Because basically, if he's wished her into having sex with him, then he's raped her. Basically, there's no getting away from it. He's raped her.
Yeah.
So...
And we'll get to that later in the film.
And also, not to say that doesn't happen, but I think for like the romantic lead, I think they just try to write a way in which... But it's very clumsy. So basically, his powers briefly don't work, but he wakes up in the middle of the night, just sits up in bed and just goes, make Kate Beckinsale fall in love with me. But nothing happens what he thinks is going to happen.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, at the same time, Kate Beckinsale and her female bestie are sat downstairs and she just goes, I'm going to go have sex with him.
Yeah.
And she does.
Yeah.
And she just literally runs upstairs. No kind of date. It's not like a romantic meet cute moment. She just runs up and goes, are you gay? He's like, no. She goes, great. And they have sex. That's it.
Yeah.
It's very romantic.
Yeah.
So they have sex, and then...
Has the dog started talking yet?
So that's when the dog starts talking. So no, they have sex, and then
It's the next morning, isn't it?
The next morning she leaves, and he gives the dog the power of a speech for reasons I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I think the dog's just barking at him a lot, and he's just talking back to the dog, as we all do.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I wish I could hear what you were saying, because like you're not responding to anything. He's like, oh, okay, let the dog speak or whatever.
Yes.
And so then it's Robin Williams just going, biscuits, give me biscuits.
Yes. So the dog is now given the voice of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You know what I really hate in movies? More than almost anything else.
Animals talking?
I'm not
like their lips not moving.
Yes, the
right?
lips moving. The lips moving.
Yeah,
I don't mind a movie with animals like inner voices. That's fine. Homeward Bound, great.
Sure.
Just make it an inner make it an inner monologue. Or if they have to talk to each other, just imagine that it's being done by like body language or whatever, and just give me a voiceover. That's fine. The mouth moving is
distracting, isn't it?
It's just creepy. I don't like it.
Yeah, there's something off about it.
No. And the animation of this particular dog was really bad. Do you remember the scene where the dog sat at the table?
Yeah.
With its arms?
Yeah.
When it's clearly a man in a dog suit. And, oh God, it was awful. I found it really unsettling. I did not care for it.
So yeah, there was
so
that.
the dog develops the voice of Robin Williams.
Yes.
And he just goes off and...
And well, after it is important to the plot.
Yeah.
That after Simon Pegg give him a biscuit or something, he's like, right, now more biscuits, please. And then Simon Pegg's like, can't you just think rationally and make them think rationally?
Mm-hmm.
And then, first of all, he's like, well, you should probably give me more biscuits and then I'll be able to think more.
Yeah.
And Simon Pegg's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. He gets outsmarted by a dog immediately.
Sure.
But then, like, the dog actually becomes like a smart character, i.e., the smartest character in this movie.
I mean, potentially, sure, yeah. He didn't seem that smart, but okay.
Well, not super smart, but like he's thinking rationally.
Sure.
And he does kind of he's certainly pitched as the smart one at the end of the movie.
I suppose yes, he does solve the movie.
Yeah.
In as much as it can be solved. So sure.
Yeah. But either way, how horrible do you think it was for Robin Williams to constantly be referring to Kate Beckinsale as that bitch?
I know, right? I mean, I get it. It's a dog, and female dogs are called bitches.
Yeah, like everybody knows, but like. Yeah. Not even Simon Pegg's character was enjoying that.
No, yeah.
So like the writers clearly knew just like this isn't right because like our main character doesn't like this.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. It's not as funny as you think it is.
It's really not, no. Especially when he's just like, shag the bitch. It's like, oh my God. This is unpleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really unpleasant to just be hearing it from Robin Williams. If it was like from one of the Monty Pythons or something, or if it was from just some like no-name actor who was in this, then I'd be like, okay, well, this isn't very nice, but okay, fine. This was one of those moments that like, this is sad.
Especially because you know it's the last thing he ever did as well. It's just
like this is terribly sad.
Yeah, it really is. It's a low point for everyone concerned.
Yeah.
But yes, so Kate Beckinsale comes back into the house after the dog starts talking, or back into the flat. And the dog is obviously being hidden away. Simon Pegg doesn't want people to know that the dog is now speaking.
Yeah.
But the dog does start shouting things out like shag the bitch and then love me, Neil, love me. He's still got like that doggy neediness.
Yeah.
Basically. And this convinces Kate Beckinsale through a hilarious, sequence of misunderstandings that Simon Pegg has a gay lover. Because previously, in discussing with
just when you thought this film couldn't punch down on anybody else,
it just keeps.
Found something else.
Found a lower place, yeah. Because earlier in the movie, when Kate Beckinsale is discussing Simon Pegg with her gal pal, she's like, "Oh, he's really nice and he's kind and he's funny, he's into me." And so the other one's like, "Gay," and then she's like, "No, he's not gay. He's just nice, gay." And then this sequence happens. She's like, "Oh my God, she was right. You are gay." And so yeah. And so then she believes that he's gay, and obviously Simon Pegg is not thrilled about that.
Nope.
That puts the spanner into their relationship.
You know what? I felt that Simon Pegg's character's reaction to this could have been worse. Like, I was expecting him to be sort of like disgusted at being called gay, but it was more just sort of like, no, I actually fancy you. It was like, that's his problem with this, is that you think that he doesn't fancy you.
Yeah, he just say, that's okay. But
I was expecting worse.
Sure, it's the highest praise this movie's going to get. In certain moments, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. Can't say that with every movie, so fine.
Okay. Right then. So to wrap up, the American guy, he clocks on about Simon Pegg's power because basically Simon Pegg tells him, like, they get in a physical fight.
They do, yeah. Which Simon Pegg could have solved in a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
right.
by saying, make him go away, send him back to America, just anything, but he just doesn't.
Yeah. Or just make him a nice person.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's easy.
So many options.
But either way. They get in a fight. Simon Pegg says that, like, I can do literally anything. Look, here's an example. So he does something. And then he just goes and talks to the dog for a little bit. And then the dog's like, oh, watch out. And the American guy just smacks him on the head with a plant pot, knocks him out. Simon Pegg wakes up, and this guy has taken him to the hotel room that he originally plans to take Kate Beckinsale to for reasons. And he seems to be very, very prepared with interrogation equipment.
Yeah. He's an American soldier,
But, like, where did he get all this stuff from in the time that it took Simon Pegg to come round from a head injury?
I wouldn't think too hard about it.
What was he planning to do to Kate Beckinsale?
That's a good point, yeah.
That's where I was going with that.
It's just, It is a lot of ropes and gags and handcuffs and, you make a good point, yeah.
It's not torture equipment. Again, could have been worse.
It could have been worse,
but it's still
the implication's not great. Yeah.
So, Simon Pegg is tied up. His arm is attached into some equipment in a way that
it's like a system of weights and pulleys, essentially.
Yeah. Simon Pegg can't wave his own arm, but the American guy can wave Simon Pegg's arm for him. That's all that matters to this. Technicality is difficult to explain.
Yeah. He gives him a list of like wishes he wants to make, and he makes Simon Pegg go through this increasingly ridiculous list of things to do.
Yeah. Which again, I wasn't really expecting that to be like 400 items on the list, which is what it was. I was expecting it to just be like one long one, which is about like the exact right wording and technicality of like give my power to the American man.
Sure, yeah.
Just like give like kind of like how Jafar and Aladdin's like give me your power.
Yeah, exactly. It's the incorrect wording does him in, but yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of expecting that sort of thing to happen, like do Aladdin again, but no, it was just like, oh, make all the traffic lights green. And then
it was so childish.
It was, wasn't it?
It was like a 5-year-old had been given this power.
And then like every time it cuts to him, he's got more military medals on him. And it's like, this doesn't feel like you've planned anything long term.
He's not much of an evil villain, really.
No.
Yeah.
And then eventually Kate Beckinsale comes to the rescue because her and Sam Peck's friend, they clock that Sam Peck has been abducted, but she knows where he's going to be.
Sure.
So she shows up, and then the American man is like, "Oh, quick, read the last one," and the last one, which it's not at this point. I didn't expect more from this film, but it's basically like make Kate Beckinsale have like passionate sex with me or something.
Yeah. I mean, at least when it's done by the villain, you can be like, yes, this is a villain move.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't want this.
Yeah.
But it still happens to her.
It makes it even less pleasing when she's like, oh no, please, Simon Pegg, don't say that. Please don't give him that last wish or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, she's like pleading, like, don't let that man rape me.
Yeah. And then he does. I mean, they don't have sex. It's very
No, I know. I mean, he attempts, but like Simon Pegg manages to stop it quickly enough. Sorry. Manages to stop it. Not quickly enough.
No.
It's very much not the first thing he says.
No, he takes his sweet time with it.
And he makes another unfortunate miswording. I'll let that pass because he's an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But he says like, turn him into a corgi. And then she's like, she's still into it.
She wants to sleep with the corgi, yeah.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Not good.
It's terrible. Yes, so the villain has been defeated. Not that he was particularly threatening at any point. But now Kate Beckinsale is understandably quite pissed off and freaked out. She's like, I don't have any idea what free will I have ever had or will ever had because every choice I ever make could have just been something you've wished for.
So yeah, like they have this conversation in the hallway outside their apartments, at which point I wasn't sure if it was a mistake in the film because it was so subtle, but her apartment is now on the same floor as his.
Really?
And there's a point where she says like I don't even know if this is where I used to live.
Oh,
okay. And it was a really subtle thing, and then you see Simon Pegg's face, and he's like really unhappy about it. And I was like, oh, okay, the film actually it went somewhere with this. Okay, I see. Like the main character now feels guilty for what he's done because here's a direct example of what he's done.
Yeah,
and it was just not that it was great. It wasn't fantastic writing, but it wasn't bad writing either. But it was just subtle enough that
okay, I can't say I noticed that, but okay.
Yeah. So it surprised me in a good way.
Okay, well, I guess even a stop clock's right, twice a day. So
yeah.
Do you know what it feels like to be in someone else's power? To have no will of your own?
I thought that I made you love me.
What?
With my powers.
Oh my God. Did I really come home early tonight because I wanted to, or did you make me? Have I always lived opposite you, or have you somehow rearranged things? I'm never going to know.
Look, I love you.
How can any woman love a man who can make her do whatever he wants, any second, every day, forever? I'm sorry, Nick, I could never love you. Not in a million years.
Oh, Catherine.
She kind of rejects him and says that, I can't ever see myself being with you because I won't ever know what free will is.
Mm-hmm.
And he just jumps straight to suicide.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess it's suicide for me then.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
It's a hard left turn.
Yeah. So
it's like smash cut on a bridge.
So he goes to basically the shortest bridge I've ever seen, as in the least high bridge.
Oh yeah.
Which didn't really feel like that would. I don't know. I'm getting into technicality there, but anyway, he has a big old suicide conversation with Robin Williams, which. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't...
Yeah, that's contextually that hasn't aged well at all.
No.
Yeah.
Especially given this film came out a year after Robin Williams' passing.
Yes, because in the production and then by the time it came out, no wonder nobody went to see this.
Yeah, that was
a bit too soon.
Yeah, but Robin Williams saves him or something. I don't know. Either way,
he jumps into the River Thames or a river.
Yeah,
he tries to drown himself. Then Robin Williams in dog form jumps in after him to rescue him.
Mm-hmm.
Realizes he can't swim, so Simon Pegg abandons his plan to die so he can swim his dog back to the shore.
Yes,
basically,
pretty much.
Yes.
And then they sit on a park bench, and he asks the dog, "What should I do?" And the dog's, I forget what the dog says, but he basically says, "Give the power to me."
Yeah.
And so Simon Pegg does. He just transfers his power to the dog. At which point I'm like, okay, what's going to happen now? It's all going to be like this weird doggy world.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? I was there for. If the film finished with like everybody's just eating biscuits or whatever,
sure, yeah,
then that would have been a fun, innocent joke to finish on.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they finish it in an all right way, where Robin Williams is like, okay, we'll destroy the source of this power. Well,
yeah. Why does he think that's? I mean, it works because
Simon Pegg at the start of the film told him to think rationally.
Oh, so this is a sign of his genius.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay. Because I did think because basically at this exact moment, the aliens are preparing to blow up the Earth. They decided that Simon Pegg has failed the test, so they're literally aiming the cannon Death Star style. And then Robin Williams says, "Destroy those who gave me the power," but he doesn't know that the Earth's about to get destroyed.
No, he doesn't.
As far as we're aware.
Yeah.
But it's just perfect timing, and then the aliens all blow up, and they all live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Not the aliens, but
yeah. Yeah. So that's.
Oh, and Kate Beckinsale and Simon Pegg get together, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
In a very half-hearted kind of way.
Yeah. So that is absolutely anything.
Absolutely absolutely anything. It is anything, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. And a whole lot of it. Thank you.
You're very welcome, John. You're very welcome.
I mean, you were right. It wasn't the worst thing to talk about.
No, and like Louise said at the very end of this, after a lot of like not enjoying it, she said when it finished, like, as much as I hate to say it, I wasn't bored by that movie.
True. It was kind of.
I mean, I will never watch this again.
No.
Don't get me wrong.
No.
This is never going to come up again.
No.
And this is, put me off choosing a film like this for a long while. Not saying it won't ever happen again.
No, sure.
Because not that I will, not that I ever would, but we can make a season out of films like this. Because
films like what?
They exist.
Oh, no, they do. Clearly, this isn't the first time.
No, I don't mean like really bad films. I mean films like this, The Invention of Lying.
Oh, I've not seen that. Is it bad?
No, I've not seen it either, but I know the title, and I know it's got Ricky Gervais in it, and I know what to expect.
Okay, sure. So like low expectation movies.
I think I saw the trailer when it was around as well. Stuff like that. There's loads of Jim Carrey ones, like say,
like Yes Man.
Yes
Okay.
Man. Is Liar Liar one of them?
No, Liar Liar is quite good.
Is it? Okay.
I enjoy Liar Liar.
I don't know it. But yeah, stuff like that. This is
So
also very
things
similar.
about people who develop just in so much power that it can't really be contained within in a comedy movie.
Also very similar to Bruce Almighty as well. We'll see
Sure.
that had a much better reception. But
And
if
a sequel.
But if you think about it, fairly similar to this.
Sure, yeah.
Like, just makes Jennifer Aniston's boobs bigger.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
no, you're right. This could be a...
It's very cheap humour about just a man who just suddenly gets loads of power.
Yes. Movies written by men.
Yes. Oh, that's a good season. We should do that.
That's like, of the 200, of the 184 whatever episodes we've done, it's probably all but maybe 5, Harry. I don't think it's not exactly a huge specific season.
I know, I was making a joke.
Okay. Right, so drinking games?
Yeah, sure. Right, the first one I got. Drink whenever he does something that's a little bit more literally than he meant to.
Okay, drink when he rewords something. Yeah. So I had my first one similarly was drink every time Neil could easily solve a situation but doesn't, i.e. by slightly rewording what he just said.
Sure.
Like there's a sequence near the end of the film when he...
It's a ridiculous sequence.
Finally realises that he could actually do some good with this power. When he decides to, say, oh, let's reverse global warming and stop all the wars.
Yeah.
But he words it, it's reverse global warming, so obviously, now everything becomes cold.
Yeah.
And instead of like stopping war, he says something like, let there be no reason for wars anymore. And that means that all the wars suddenly happen for no reason, which makes it a lot worse. It's just people randomly declaring war on each other.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, oh God, this is awful. Let's just, that's when he decides to kill himself. He just goes, oh, well, this is ridiculous. I guess I should just jump off a bridge. When surely he could just like slightly rephrase both of those things and make the world a much better place.
Yeah. He could even say something like, we're giving this film more thought than it needs, than it deserves. But he could say...
the fact that this podcast lasted longer than 5 minutes, we're giving it more.
Well, it's likely this will last longer than the film did.
Yes.
He could have said something like, just make it now that whenever I try to use this power, it does what I mean and not what I say.
Yes.
Like, just like that, because then he could...
Yeah, he could do anything.
Then he could do anything without accident.
You're right. He could have really gone meta.
Yeah. Like I guess at the minute he says that, the film's over, but
Yes. Well, there you go. Exactly. That's what I mean. The film has to tie itself up in knots to avoid
and
breaking its own logic. Yeah.
I can see what they were doing with like, let's make everything literal, and it kind of works. In a better film, it would have been really funny.
Sure.
But this one obviously didn't do that. Drink whenever he undoes something.
Drink whenever he what?
Undoes something.
I thought it said every time he does something. I was like, that's a very lazy drinking game, Harry. Every time the main character does a thing, have a drink. Sure. All right. Yes, when he has to undo his own things, such as when he accidentally raises all of the dead or blows up his classroom. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Drink for celebrity cameos. We've discussed this movie has many characters in it who are in it for all of one scene or two scenes, then get
Even
out.
if their names on the poster, I still count a lot of them as cameos.
Yes, well, basically everyone who's not Simon Pegg or Kate Beckinsale, and maybe Sanjeev Bhaskar had a push.
Yeah.
So many other ones. Joanna Lumley, all of two scenes in an awful wig. Mira Sayal's in it for two scenes.
Yeah.
Eddie Izzard's in it for 2 or 3 scenes. Yeah, there's a lot.
Got so many voice actors who are probably the bigger actors than anybody else in this film.
Oh, you mean the Monty Python guy? Oh, and Robin Williams, of course.
Williams,
yes. Yeah. Yeah. So just drink every time a new minor celebrity pops up, and you're like, oh, you as well?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear. A drink for any dog tropes.
Dog tropes, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the worst part of this movie.
No,
I didn't mind. I thought Robin Williams was not good, but not as apart from all the bitch stuff. But like some of it, none of it made me laugh, but some of it raised like a half a smile. You know, like the stuff about him being like super needy and how like all he wanted was his master's approval. And
Yeah.
that was all right. I didn't mind it. The fake belly rub thing I thought was quite. It was all right. It was almost there.
All of it could have been better.
It could have been better, but I was like, it could also have been worse.
Yes. Yeah, it could.
I feel like there's definitely probably a lot of it that was just Robin Williams like going off, and because famously that's what he did when he played the genie. Like most of the dialogue is not scripted; it's what he did, and then they animated around his improvisations. Clearly, this was not Robin Williams at its finest, but even like off-grade Robin Williams is better than most of the actual attempted comedy that's in the script of this movie.
Yeah.
So I can see how his bits are. They're probably the best parts of the movie. But that is faint praise, people. It's damning it with faint praise.
Yeah, big time.
Cool. Drink for empowering conversations between women.
Oh.
Or the lack thereof. Every time there are two women talking to each other, which I think is only Kate Beckinsale and her pal, all they talk about is men and, oh God, I want a man. I want this guy. And it's just, This is not an empowering film for women. This is terribly written.
It's not the worst film that was on this podcast for women.
No, we've certainly had worse, but it is up there. Yeah.
I'd say this is the worst film that was on this podcast for men.
Just in terms of writing them as just dopes.
Well, not
or one-dimensional.
No, it's more that every man in this movie is borderline rapey.
True.
If not actually rapey.
Yeah. Yes, it doesn't paint a good picture of men.
Like that's how it is in this film, and there's not an exception.
No, and I don't think that's intentional at all. So
no.
Or at least it's equal opportunity is bad then.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Drink for any joke that just wouldn't be written today in 2020. I know this film's only 5 years old,
but yes,
but a lot's happened in the last 5 years.
Sure.
A lot of these jokes just wouldn't get made.
No, they would not pass today. Absolutely.
No.
Very true. Yeah.
So,
or drink for any joke that would have been funny if it was in a Monty Python sketch 45 years ago, but even in 2015 was just now.
Yeah.
And basically between the two of us, we've come up with like the movie. So.
Also, I'm not sure if you can take any joke, put it 45 years ago in a Monty Python thing, and it suddenly becomes funny.
It's more like at the time.
I'd say that a lot of the reasons why these jokes aren't funny also wouldn't be funny then.
I agree, yes, but they'd pass more.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Okay, drink for stock footage.
Okay, yeah.
It's never a good sign when a movie is less than 90 minutes and there are multiple extended sequences that are just stock footage.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah. That's very fair. Drink whenever you feel sad because of this movie.
Yeah. What, not an uplifting one?
No.
Biscuits. Shagging.
I don't think I like your conversation.
But I worship you, Master. I love you so much. I can't bear displeasing you. My whole world collapses when you're cross with me.
Look, maybe it was better when you didn't talk.
Oh no, don't take away my power of speech now that I can think rationally. That would be so cruel. Oh, I heard the bell. Somebody at the door. The bell! There it goes again. Hey, the bell! Oh, the bell! Hey, somebody. There it goes again. Hey, somebody at the door. Oh no, have I done something wrong again?
No, just be quiet. Do you understand me?
Yes, anything to stop you being angry with me. The bell! There it goes again! Hey!
Dennis, listen. Just listen. Be quiet. That is an order.
Right. Quiet. I like obeying orders, especially your orders.
Good. Well then shut the fuck up.
That's all of mine, actually.
Yeah, I'm done too.
Cool, okay. Great.
All right. Well, listeners, if you've enjoyed this train wreck of an episode, then maybe you'll enjoy more train wrecks. You can go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset, where we have some of our best train wrecks. Mm-hmm. We have extended versions of our main episodes. We also do a bonus show called Beyond the Box Set, where we review random films.
Used to be cinema releases, now it's mostly Netflix, but we're getting much better at watching Netflix movies, though. We've had quite a few that we've watched in the past few weeks, so we'll as Oscar season comes along, we'll obviously be reviewing all of that as much as we could. Yes.
Look, what's that Chadwick Boseman one again?
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yes,
it's a classic play.
Sounds great.
It's a classic play.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, I'm sure that will be very much in the mix. Yeah.
Well, so we're going to have reviews for those. We've got reviews for many others as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good films, bad films, all kinds of films.
Yes.
Also, if you become a Patreon, you get to have a 30-second advert slot on the main show. Mm-hmm. Also on here, once a month, we do a Patreon episode where we get one of our patrons to choose the film for us. You can guess if you want to. You don't have to, though. And, well, that's pretty much it, really.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. We don't run a tiered system like most Patreon users do. We do a pay-as-you-feel system. So no matter what you want to pay, whether it be $2 or $200 or more, you get all the same features, no matter what. So just whatever you feel like. All that is available at patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Indeed.
Hello, I'm Anna.
Murray.
Lauren.
Thomas.
Ishal.
And we've just been hired as receptionists
At Edinburgh Newington Quids Inn.
Britain's premier chain of budget hotels.
So if you want to hear about what we've been up to,
Or you're bored,
or you've heard that podcasts are cool and wanted to seem trendy,
search for Welcome to the Quids Inn
on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Right, everybody, back to work.
Now, on sequels. Do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah, okay. So, this was not a film that I left feeling like I really wanted more of this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a bit of a challenge at first.
Okay.
But I've come up with some potential avenues towards, something.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first one is my smallest one. And it is just very basically just recut this movie as a children's movie.
Sure.
Because did you not feel that this movie felt like a movie for children,
just written inappropriately,
with a lot of fucks and and some swearing and some sex scenes and
that lines up.
It really felt like a lot of the comedy felt like this would be a semi-passable children's movie.
Yeah, with like a bit of an educational tint to it as well.
Yeah. But instead they tried to make it a grown-up rom-com or whatever it was trying to be, and it falls absolutely on its ass. But yeah, I thought just a few judicious edits here and there. Effing about like the villains, the aliens and stuff. It just felt it just felt like such a kids movie.
Yeah,
and everyone was acting as if they were in a kids movie because it just felt very like
they were.
Again, because they were just doing it a bit half-hearted because there wasn't really,
Like the villain's master plan was turn all the traffic lights green.
Exactly. That was the bit particularly. Yeah, all of that. Like, wouldn't it be so funny if the police were all wearing pink? Wouldn't it be really funny if all the Englishmen had webbed feet and giant ears? It felt really childish. I was like, how is this also a movie where people say fuck every 2 minutes? Like, weird tonal shifts. Yeah. So that's all there is for that one. It's just like recut it, make it a kids movie. It's still not great, but it'll probably entertain the kids on Nickelodeon or whatever for like an hour.
Yeah, that totally adds up.
Yeah. I've got better ones. That was just like just my first one out of the way. So
yeah.
Cool. How many have you got this week?
Mine's kind of one, but also kind of a few.
Okay.
It's a TV.
Do you want me to do another one before we get to yours?
Yeah, do all yours. We'll do all mine.
Okay, fine, cool. So I've got two more.
Okay.
Neither of them are massive, but they're more than that last one was.
Okay.
My second one picks up immediately after the plot of the first one.
Right.
And it is based on the fact that the original movie ends with the dog being ultimately in control of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And you kind of, I hope I'm not stealing your idea here, but you kind of hinted on this as well, in that you said like there was potentially a movie in the fact that a dog suddenly becomes the most powerful thing.
Yeah.
Is this what your idea is?
No, not at all.
Okay, good, right, cool. So I was thinking that the sequel could pick up immediately after the first movie, with the dog still having all the powers of the universe.
Yeah.
Dennis the dog, as voiced by Robin Williams, or I guess a good Robin Williams sound-alike, now that we've sadly lost Robin Williams.
See, without knowing the rest of your idea, I feel like it would be great for somebody who could do improv comedy. And like, this would be a fantastic role for Robin Williams.
It would, yes, if you actually allowed some humour in.
Yeah. So I kind of don't really want to get somebody who can just do an impersonation of Robin Williams.
No, true. Maybe someone who could just do the spirit of,
have
the spirit of Robin Williams. Doesn't matter who it is, but he's got all of the powers in the universe. He still has all of that power. And we pick up, and maybe Kate Beckinsale and Simon Pegg, they're in a relationship now, and they're dating, and they're happy, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. They're not a big part of this. But the thought of this was that what would happen if a dog had all the powers of the universe, and what would that mean? And there's two ways you could go about it. You could go about it the way of that episode of Rick and Morty, where the dogs take over Earth. That's one way. The dogs get really sinister.
Yeah.
So, but that's been done, and I don't want to just repeat something that's already existed. I was thinking, what if the dog is still essentially a nice dog? He's a good dog, but as time goes on, he can't help himself. But he has no self-control, and his dog instincts take over and cause him to make big mistakes that just fuck the universe, basically. So I was thinking, for example, we established in this movie he has an insatiable hunger for biscuits.
Sure.
So what if he realizes that with the powers that he has, he can literally turn anything into a biscuit?
Right,
and so what he does is, consequently, because he's a dog, he turns everything into a biscuit.
Right.
And the entire world is just a biscuit.
Okay.
Like, so now everything in the world is a biscuit.
Okay, so what, like the planet is one big biscuit, or the planet is a biscuit with like biscuit trees and biscuit people and biscuit buildings?
Second one, everything's a biscuit.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it's not that the planet shrinks to the size of a little biscuit,
or just becomes one giant biscuit.
No, it's like everything is made of biscuit.
Right? Yeah.
Plants, people,
Okay.
Sidewalks, everything is biscuit basically. So he does that, and suddenly the world is a biscuit.
Okay. Do people realise?
Yeah. Well, Simon Pegg and Kate Beckinsale, I think, are spared from this fate. He doesn't turn them into biscuits.
Okay.
So they're where the comedy's going to come from, because they're having to deal with all the crazy things the dog is doing. So suddenly they're living on a planet that's just become a biscuit.
Are we keeping all these jokes PG?
Unless you want to go particularly dark with it.
No, not massively. I'm just like, are we keeping in the shagging jokes from the dog, or is it just the biscuit jokes?
I don't have a shag joke.
Good.
If you want to pitch one, feel free. But at the moment,
if anything comes.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, sure. So well, this is where I want your help, because you are a noticeable dog owner, so you probably know better than me.
Yeah.
If your dog developed like godlike powers, what do you think it would do? If it could just manifest whatever its desires were into existence, what would Lara do?
Well, there'd be no more fireworks in the world.
Yes, silence all the fireworks. That would
definitely happen. Unfortunately, there would be a lot of racism happening.
Yes,
there'd be a lot of genocide. My dog's not the best for this example.
Well, I did think maybe it wipes out all of the cats.
Yes.
So cats are wiped off the face of the earth.
Actually, if it did happen to my dog Lara, she would then be the only small, white, fluffy, cute dog.
Yeah.
There would literally be no more in existence. So there'd be that. She'd be a celebrity.
Yes. She'd just be the only one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was thinking that the dogs this dog gets rid of all the cats.
She'd rescue all the wild dogs in the world.
Okay. Do you really think she cares about other dogs?
I think she's got memories of dogs from her past,
from
her youth.
Oh, so maybe all the Romanian rescue dogs like come back for revenge. They start ruling the world. With an iron fist. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking that I can actually very much see that. I was thinking that, this thing of wiping out all of the cats. I was thinking, this, along with the whole biscuit thing, really upsets the delicate eco-balance of the planet.
Sure.
And because there's no cats, then there's no one killing all the birds.
Okay.
Because cats are like bird murderers.
Yeah.
And so the population of birds explodes.
Yep.
And also the birds become emboldened because they're not being hunted by cats anymore.
What does emboldened mean?
They become bolder and braver, and they take less shit.
Right. They eat more chips from the beach.
More chips, exactly. Well, what I'm thinking is, have you seen the film The Birds?
I've not, no.
But do you know the basic concept of it?
The birds take over?
It's basically birds attacking humans.
Okay.
We should do the birds. It's a good film.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that the birds start attacking humans, basically.
Yeah.
And this leads to a massive and very bloody bird-dog war. Like all the dogs and all the birds gang up and there's just fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just thinking, like, generally for this film, that's basically what he does. This Dennis the dog character manifests his dog desires, always with hilariously disastrous results, whether it be turning the world into a biscuit or killing all the cats and getting all the birds to attack all the humans or whatever. All those dog things happen. Eventually, though, Simon Pegg continues to try and keep him at least on some level under control, on the leash, if you would. And eventually, at a certain point, Dennis the dog, he tires of the limitations of being a dog, being a four-legged animal. So he decides to use his powers to transform himself into a human.
Okay.
And of course, he takes the form of a human being. What form do you think he takes?
Simon Pegg.
Well, I was going to say Nick Frost.
Oh, okay.
You've got to reunite them. This film was missing Nick Frost. So, and Nick Frost has a doggy, he seems... No, I'm not, he has a doggy vibe.
He seems doggish.
He's got a doggish vibe, he's very loyal. He loves his food. He's
okay.
So it's a way to bring Nick Frost into a Simon Pegg movie, which is always what you want. So,
sure. Yeah.
So I was thinking it ends with maybe he uses the last of his powers to transform himself from dog to Nick Frost.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they set the whole world right somehow. Or not, whatever. Or they're just stuck on a biscuit world, but they just learn to live with it. So
I kind of like the biscuit world thing.
Yeah, I thought you might. So, yeah. So that was absolutely anything. It's a rough life.
No, it's a rough life.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Did you say you've got another one? Or
I've got one more. Yeah, do you want me to do my last one and then pass over to you?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. So my last idea is based on another observation I had in this film, which is that Sanjeev Bhaskar, the best friend, he behaves throughout this film in a very inorganic way.
Yeah.
For example, when he just basically says, "So, if you could do just about anything, what would you do?" And it was like, that literally came out of nowhere. He just said that. When would you ever say that to somebody with no context? It's like, it was such a random question. So that made me think, what if he was in on it the whole time?
Okay.
So what if Sanjeev Bhaskar was actually one of the aliens, and he's been sent down by the Intergalactic Council of Superior Species when they decided to... So basically, it's more of a sidequel. It's its own thing initially.
Okay. Is he like sort of a temptation? As in, like, he's kind of trying to make Simon Pegg do bad?
Yes. Essentially, I feel like when the aliens give Simon Pegg all this power, they send Sanjeev Bhaskar down, or they send an alien down to... Maybe Sanjeev Bhaskar was his best friend.
Yeah.
But then this alien kills him and takes his body or whatever, or steals his identity in some way, shape, or form. And he's there to basically coax Neil into using this power so they can test whether or not he's going to use it for good or bad.
Yeah.
So he gets stuck in this human body, and that's what he does. And so in the actual context of the original film, he's just basically trying to get Neil to make, moral choices to see what direction he takes.
Yeah.
Obviously, the original film ends with all the other aliens being killed. So I'm thinking credits roll on that film. And now that character... He's still trapped on Earth. He's the last surviving alien because he wasn't on one of the ships. So literally his entire race has been wiped out. And now he's trapped on Earth forever in the body of Sanjeev Bhaskar.
Okay. Does he have any powers?
No. He's just literally trapped in a human body. Because this is the thing. I'm thinking, okay, so he's the last surviving one of his race.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But he's now hell-bent on revenge because he's the last of his kind. And all he wants to do is destroy the planet and get his revenge on everyone.
Yeah.
But he's trapped in the body of a pudgy middle-aged high school teacher, so his powers to enact that revenge are somewhat limited. So, and that's all I've got for that, basically. But I thought that could be like a really funny comedy, like a pure evil, revenge-driven alien just trapped in the body of like a chubby middle-aged guy who can't really do anything.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think that he's going to work out that the dog has the power?
Maybe. I'm just thinking he just tries to find ways to destroy humanity.
Right.
He's trying to figure out... It's not just that he wants revenge on Simon Pegg and the dog. He literally wants to destroy humanity. But how can he? He has literally no power. He's nobody.
That's why I'm saying that. Do you think he finds out that the dog has the power? Because, like, he's not going to destroy humanity otherwise.
Well, maybe, but I was thinking it could be funny because maybe he could really be plotting to... He has these huge plots to destroy humanity, but he has no power to enact them. So it's like the ambition outweighs the reality. It made me think of like You know,
Stewie Griffin in Family
Yeah,
Guy.
Stewie Griffin or Pinky and the Brain. You know, when
Yeah,
there's like
yeah,
you've got
yeah.
a tiny little supervillain, or someone who's totally insignificant, has no access to weapons.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
He's not strong. He's not anything. He's just like a regular guy.
Yeah.
To all outward appearances.
I could see like them sort of just going about day-to-day life, and that's the case. But like his best friend is Simon Pegg, and Simon Pegg has this super dog.
Yeah.
But like that's Simon Pegg's thing now. He just has this super dog who can do anything.
Yeah.
Basically do any of Simon Pegg's bidding if it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this friend's constantly trying to like, oh Simon, could you just ask your dog if he could do that for me?
Yeah,
I'll give you a tenner.
Yeah, maybe he starts just trying to destroy the world on his own accord, and then he
Yeah.
quickly realizes he has no power to do that.
Mhm.
But then he does realize that the dog is the one. The dog's the responsible one, and then so
Yeah.
he tries desperately to like get the power back from the dog so he can become the most powerful being in the universe again.
Yeah.
And that drives the main plot of the movie. And then clearly he's going to fail. But, it could set up like him versus the dog. And
I'd
then
like it if he keeps asking Simon Pegg to get the dog to do things.
Mhm.
But because Simon Pegg's basically this middleman, and also he's not the smartest.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember everything perfectly.
Mhm.
So like.
So again, he's mispronouncing things.
Yeah, mispronouncing things, just like saying things slightly wrong and stuff like that, and then Sanjeev's just like, oh, that's not quite what I asked you for. Like,
Yeah, it never quite lands.
Yeah, like I asked you to take over Germany or something, but I meant Germany. I didn't mean Poland. Like,
yeah, sure.
So, I don't know, weird example, but stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it never quite goes the way he wants.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, and maybe at the very end of the film, it comes like to a fight to the death between Sanjeev Bhaskar and the dog, and Simon Pegg's trapped in the middle, and it's like you have to choose between man's best friend and your actual best friend.
Right. Yeah.
Because he still doesn't know that his friend is possessed by an alien. It's like
Yeah.
So it could just come down to that, and then eventually he chooses the dog, and he makes the right decision, and then the world is saved. But yeah. That's that was
I like that.
pretty much it. Yeah, I mostly just like the idea of like a powerless man trying to destroy the world. Yeah, someone with no influence, nothing special about him.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
that could totally
Someone
be quite
completely
fun.
obscure in a tiny little suburb of London.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's what it really. So that was absolutely anything. Aliens Among Us.
Very good. Yeah, I like that. So mine, I've come up with a title because I always try and force one, but I'm not going to oversell it. Absolutely anything to absolutely not like the last one.
Absolutely not like the last one. Well, thank the Lord.
Yeah,
thank the Lord.
I feel like that's a selling point.
Definitely, yes. That should be the tagline. 100%,
Yeah. So this time there's another council of aliens or whatever.
Sure.
I was going to say,
is it a sequel? Is it a direct sequel, or is this a new version?
Yeah, it's a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's either really. Okay. It's fine. But yeah, there's another council of aliens or whatever, and I was going to say maybe it's played by a different troupe of comedians.
Sure.
And so I was thinking the cast of Spaced.
Nice, a good tie-in, yeah.
Yeah,
so
Simon... just a little connection, but I'm not planning any more Simon Pegg in this.
Okay, so it's going to be like Jessica Hines and
I mean, Simon Pegg's in this as like a voice actor for this.
Okay,
but like,
so Simon Pegg, Jessica Hines, and Nick Frost, and the others. The others, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Mark Heap, that's the guy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, the same thing happens again, and they decide to grant powers to a random human being.
Okay.
But this time, I thought that we could try and see what happens if they just give the powers to a random TV personality.
Oh, okay.
They can be real or they can be fictional.
So,
and I've got a list here of people that we can go down. But if you think of any, then feel free to shout them out, and we'll see where we go with that.
Okay, well, hit me with something to get us. Let's get the ball rolling. You start.
Okay, so the first one, Bear Grylls.
Oh, okay. So you're talking actual TV celebrities, not like TV characters.
Both. I've got characters on this too.
Okay, right. Okay, sure. Bear Grylls. So Bear Grylls becomes the most powerful man on the planet.
Yes.
I feel like that would not go well. I feel like he'd turn us all into like weird survivalists who have to eat their own poo and drink their own piss.
Yeah.
Maybe he becomes like a despot of naturalism and survivalism kind of thing.
Yeah, it would certainly change the whole world.
It would.
But just like maybe we'd all become completely self-independent, but that wouldn't look great. Like he'd probably wish that, and then suddenly he'd realize like, oh my god, humanity is disgusting now.
Yeah.
Like it's not just that we're all eating and drinking. Yeah, but we're no longer living in houses. There's not enough space for anybody because maybe everybody's equally spaced out or something, and it's just all ridiculous. Like there's no social life between anybody anymore. Nobody's having fun. Everybody's extremely unhappy, and the world becomes a terrible place.
Yeah. No, I like the idea that the aliens choose Bear Grylls at random. They look at the Earth. They look at people living their cosmopolitan lives, in cities, whatever, working the 9 to 5, whatever. And they're like, oh, let's just pick a guy at random. That guy, he'll do. Yeah. Okay, and then they get distracted. Like, they switch off the TV.
Yeah.
Go and do something else. A week passes. I wonder how Earth's doing. Tune in, everyone's gone fully feral. They're like, what the fuck? Yeah, they chose their own guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Okay, next one I've got here. Well, I've got loads here. I'm not going to read them all out because you won't want that for editing reasons.
No.
Did you watch Tiger King?
Of course. We talked about that, yeah.
Yeah. Joe Exotic?
Joe Exotic. Oh, gosh. Wow. What a world that would be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you'd go with that, though. Like, so...
See, now, I didn't fully watch Tiger King. I only sort of partially watched it, so I need to leave this one with you, mostly.
I don't know. He was just...
Would he just wish for more tigers, or would he become president, or what?
He did run for president. So he actually becomes the president then. Yes, because he was running for president.
Yeah.
I feel like he would just be a crazed dictator with just like sitting on a throne with tigers, stroking all of his tigers. All kinds of like impressionable young boys who he was,
Oh dear.
He wasn't a nice man, yeah.
No, I didn't get that impression.
Carol Baskin's head on a stick, probably, yeah. It would end with just like tribal chaos. He would not be a good leader.
No, definitely not.
He would destroy humanity in like 3 wishes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't last. It would not last.
Yeah. So there wouldn't be many of us left.
No,
it would just be him ruling over lots of big cats.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So to go into a fictional character here, I've got Piper from Orange Is the New Black.
Okay. Why Piper?
Because everything always happens to Piper from the context of this show. Oh, no, what am I saying there? Piper's always the one who gets everything.
Yes. Okay. Sure.
Because like she's the privilege of that show. That's her character. So in this, Piper now becomes omnipotent.
So she's like the omnipotent face of white privilege.
Yes.
Okay.
And she can do anything. So we could also talk about other characters' reactions to that. Just like, of course, Piper got this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe like nothing changes because she just inherits the world of like white privilege, and so white privilege continues. Like she gets it, and she's like, I'm going to make things better for everyone, and then she promptly forgets everyone else.
Nothing changes.
Makes it all about herself. Yes, and all the other characters are just like as usual. They don't even get out of prison.
Yeah,
and they're all just super bitter. But then eventually
maybe that's what actually happened in season 6.
Probably, yeah.
When she gets out for no reason.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Because she's white.
Yeah.
And middle class, but yes. Or maybe it could be like a parable for how Orange Is the New Black as a show panned out, and it starts out she gets all the powers, and then all the black characters that they actually manage to steal the powers from her and then make it all about them. And she just becomes the annoying side character who no one really cares. Like, shut up, Piper, no one cares about your story anymore. So.
I like that. Joey from Friends.
Okay, I think this would be almost exactly the same as my plot with the dog got it. God, if any TV character is basically a dog in human form, it's Joey Tribbiani. Come on.
Yeah.
Everything, the whole planet will be food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It'll be pizza and other Italian foods.
Yeah. I think it'd work out. He seems like a pretty harmless guy.
Yeah. He generally means well.
Yeah. It would just be like a dog being in charge.
He does get a bit iffy at times.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's the 90s. So yeah, maybe he takes it back to... He turns the world back to the 90s.
Oh, it's just constantly the 90s.
Yes.
All the Friends cast are all living in apartments around him.
Yeah.
He gets the gang back together.
Everyone lives in apartments way bigger than they could realistically afford.
Yeah.
There are no black people.
No.
Not because he hates them, just because he just doesn't think about them. They just cease to exist because he stops thinking about them.
God.
The world becomes like safe 90s Friends zone, basically.
Yeah.
Everything has a laugh track.
Yeah.
The entire world suddenly develops a laugh track. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, you're saying that the whole Friends series was within Joey's head?
Basically,
was the laugh track Joey's monologue?
I'm thinking, yeah, basically. The world he creates subconsciously is just a very soft 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
So,
I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah, I knew that'd be your favourite. So.
Yeah. Okay, I think you'll like this next one.
Mm-hmm.
Jezza Kyle.
Who?
Jeremy Kyle.
Oh, Jeremy Kyle. Okay, I didn't know. I thought he meant like some kind of god from the Greek, like Jezza. What's a Jezza Kyle?
Sorry.
Lord of the Rings supporting character? Jeremy Kyle. Oh, I hate him.
Yeah, I know, me too. Everybody does. But what would happen if he had these powers?
So he becomes like the grand arbiter, like Solomon kind of thing, where he's just constantly sat on his throne,
judging whether people are good or bad.
Yes, solving people's disputes, but actually making them a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
And again, that would not last long because it would cause World War III. Always does. Yeah. Just immediately just causes war.
Yeah?
Yeah. Father against son, mother against daughter. Everybody just, yeah.
Everybody hates each other.
Yes.
I'd say that he probably like just snaps his fingers and just makes everybody have some sort of drama against the people they're closest to.
Yes, absolutely. Everything's just all for ratings, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That'd be bleak.
I'd love to watch that world though.
I'm sure you would. I would want no part of it. But
have you ever watched Troy McCall?
I really can't. Those kind of shows, like, I just cannot. They bring me out in hives. Like,
now I would never turn it on, but also I feel like if
you'd never turn it off if it was
yeah.
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 I just can't delve into that world. It's just too depressing.
Sure.
It's the same reason I can't watch like the Real Housewives of X City. It's just too much shouting.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Moss from the IT crowd.
Okay. Everything is uber literal.
Yeah.
The nerds inherit the earth.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone wears everybody has to wear like white, very very plain white buttoned up shirts and
shirts and ties. And
Yeah.
What do you say happens to him specifically? Like,
I don't think he'd handle the power very well.
Do you think that he'd stay exactly where he was?
Yeah, I think he would not welcome that level of power. So initially he really likes it.
Yeah.
Because he makes everyone behave like him. And he turns, but then it becomes overwhelming and he tries to hide from it and he ends up just hiding in this basement where he's always worked, trying to hide from the fact that he is essentially God. But he can't hide because,
yeah,
he's God.
I could see him. I could see him saying things like, "Oh, I just want everything to be back to normal forever."
Yes,
and then it's like forever.
Yeah, that's it. Because he's so literal minded.
Yeah,
he can't rephrase in the way he wants to.
Yeah,
he can never. He always says it a little bit wrong, and it ends up he's just trapped in this loop.
Yeah.
And maybe like Jen and Roy are trying to like coach him to. Just say this, and they just cannot get him to say they know the exact right combination of words that will get it right.
Yeah, of course they would.
Cannot get him to say it.
Yeah,
it's just impossible. It's driving them nuts. Yeah,
definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay, D. Oh gosh, that's the darkest timeline. I think whoever you would choose on Always Sunny, it would be an apocalyptic event. They would
I feel like it works for any of them.
They would all destroy the world in a matter. You could have that as a really fun like episode or like the movie.
Definitely, yeah.
Where each one of them individually develops godlike powers.
Yeah.
And each in their own way brings about the destruction of the universe in a matter of like 12 minutes or something. Like there's just it all falls apart so fast. All in their own ways, but they all just destroy humanity.
Okay, well, who do you think would go best?
Max.
You could even think about side characters.
Sure.
Like Cricket, for example.
That wouldn't go well. That'd go awfully. That'd be a horrible situation.
It'd be like the dog situation again, wouldn't it?
Well, yes. Whoever you choose, and there are no redeeming characters in that universe.
See, now I was thinking D because I feel like her main thing would just be to make all the other characters like just to worship her.
Yes, of course.
And then see how that goes. Like we've kind of seen how like worshipping goes in this
It's never a good
absolutely anything universe. Mm. But yeah, just I feel like what would she do with it?
I think she becomes the queen of the birds, obviously.
Yeah. yeah.
I just think her general narcissism just takes over, and she wants everyone to worship her, but it all backfires. She can't make it work. Maybe they all rebel and end up like burning her at the stake or something.
Well, maybe it just turns out that she doesn't like it when they like her.
Yeah, because deep down she doesn't like herself.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So being worshipped is fun for a minute, but then it quickly becomes unsettling, and because she doesn't like herself fundamentally, she ends up destroying the entire fabric of the universe. So,
I could see it going like, first of all, she makes them like her, and then she doesn't like that. She's like, okay, make them hate me again, and then like they hate her, but like way worse than they did before, and it just keeps spiraling like one way or the other, but it's just worse each time.
No, I'll tell you what, I've changed it. Each one of them, including D, has that power for a brief amount of time, starts off creating their own personal heaven, end up inadvertently creating hell on earth.
Yeah.
Like full hell on earth.
Yeah.
But they find out that they're actually quite comfortable in hell, and they just stay in the bar. And actually, it's the best place for them.
They all just go to hell.
They barely notice the difference. They're just running the bar in hell.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. Mm-hmm. Let me see what else I've got here that might be good. Nah, I think we peaked with that last one.
Okay, cool.
I don't see us breaking that one. So yeah,
let's quit while we're ahead.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. No, I like that. I think you're right. this concept...
There are loads more that you could do.
It's not a flawed concept. It's just not executed well in this specific film. But you could do it better in other things. I think something like Always Sunny or Friends in a weird... Not that Friends would ever go that weird, but yeah, I could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, very good.
So yeah, that was technically absolutely anything to absolutely not like the last one.
Okay.
Which is all anybody wants for a sequel of this movie.
Yes, if anyone in the world wants any kind of sequel to this movie.
That's what they want. Probably. Absolutely not like the last one.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds good. Well, not really, but
it sounds better than the original.
It sounds like it's
and that's all anybody could ask for.
Indeed. Right. Okay, should we move on to listener submissions?
Okay, so I've got a few here. Most of them are reviews.
I had mostly reviews. Nobody was crying out for sequels.
No. So I've got Andrew Gibson. I'm going to rush through these.
Sure.
Andrew Gibson says, this movie was fine, but incredibly forgettable. I do remember a bit where I think the dog attempts suicide, or maybe he stopped Peg from doing it or something, which is very awkward given William's situation.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's definitely that. Dean Spencer says, was it any good? Instant reply, no.
Just instant, like loads of 1,000 responses all saying no.
Luke Goldsworthy has pitched the title, instead of absolutely anything, vaguely nothing.
More accurate, yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Tim Saxby says, I have a signed poster of this movie and I've never seen it.
Oh my God.
That is intriguing.
They must have just been giving them away. Like from where?
By who?
Yeah.
Who signed it?
True, yeah, it could be anyone. Surely not Robin Williams.
Because it's a big cast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's intriguing. I don't know anything more about that. Kobe Morris says absolutely nothing in its 2 hours of a black screen.
Mm-hmm. Still an improvement on the original, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Lee Wilson says, apparently nothing apparently.
Oh, that's a song.
Okay, sure.
Apparently nothing. It's the Brand New Heavies. You would not know who they were.
Sure.
It's a banging tune, but before your time.
Mike Luther claims to have literally never once heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Probably not the only one.
That adds up, yeah. Cameron Sykes' review is, it is strange how a film with Simon Pegg, Robin Williams, and the remaining Monty Pythons would be so forgettable. Yeah. I think having seen this, I don't think of this as a forgettable movie.
It's a film you'd like to forget, but it's not forgettable. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Saying that, we did both forget about Lesbian Vampire Killers.
We did.
True, and that was only about a year ago that we did
True,
that.
Yeah. Give it a month and see how we feel.
Yeah. Nicholas Salamanca says, in all caps, how have I never heard of this film? Edit, apparently it ain't that good. Is it worth a watch?
Yeah.
One reply says, it's an alrighty way to kill time.
That's the highest praise. They should have put that on the poster. That's just the highest praise I can think of for this film.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Fergus Dodd says, the best sequel, anything else?
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Literally anything else. Yeah.
Matthew S. Mendoza says, I just saw this last week. Weird coincidence. Who's watching this? And thought it was funny. Okay. His power works like a genie from a D&D, though, always working against him.
Yes.
Fair enough. James McLean says, absolutely biscuits. A prequel of What's His Name the Dog, as we find out just how his obsession with biscuits began.
Okay.
I saw this on a plane and got a few good laughs, but that's the main part outside of the pretty great alien sketches I remember, so obviously he should star in the next movie.
I mean, if you thought the alien sketches were the best part of this movie, I don't know what to tell you, really.
Wow. And the last one I've got here from Hunter Scott Hansen is nothing at all.
Nothing, just a blank screen. Just 2 hours of blank screens. Improvement on this movie.
Yeah.
Great.
Or just not even a sequel.
Yeah, just let it go.
Imagine that.
Sometimes just let it die. Yeah. Okay.
John, it's official.
What? This podcast is longer than... Well, let's see how the edit works out, but probably, yeah. Okay, I have a few as well. I only had the one sequel pitch. I also had a few just general reactions, so I'll read out the reactions first. Anna de Carlin Durkin said, my father is convinced that this is a good movie, and his only argument is that it has such a good cast that it just has to be. Oh, hope springs eternal. Bless. Jack Fitzpatrick said, yeah, I was really disappointed. From a premise where literally anything can happen, nothing actually happens. It's true. Eric Elvadeson said, marginally fun premise that's utterly wasted on incredibly obvious sexist crap.
Yeah.
It felt more like an Adam Sandler movie than a Monty Python movie. Now, that is a good observation and a deep dig.
I think the thing that makes this the worst film that we've done on the podcast, when you compare it to Lesbian Vampire Killers or Sausage Party,
is the potential or lack.
I don't think that Love Actually really counts because I don't think that's outrageously bad.
No, that's more of a me thing, but sure.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree with all the reasons why you think it's bad, but I think the reason that this is the worst of the top three there is that this one had the potential to be so much better. The cast is great.
Yes.
Whereas Sausage Party and Lesbian Vampire Killers, the cast, they're all great in their way, but they're not above those films.
No, exactly, yeah.
Like when you look at like Seth Rogen and James Franco and stuff like that,
they're just doing what they do. Yeah.
That's what they do.
That's the
their
depressing thing.
thing.
You're watching a bunch of really talented actors just to go through the motions on this, and that's more depressing.
Yeah.
Than watching like bad actors give bad performances or actors just doing what they normally do, whether it's either funny or not.
Yeah.
Sure, I agree. That the potential is what really kills this. Harry Cullen also said, watched it on a plane. Wish I hadn't. I guess this film's really raking in the dollars on the planes. And Jack W. Davenport said, I didn't mind it. That's the highest praise I found on my one.
Wow.
But finally, our only sequel pitch from on Twitter was from MovieList, @MovieList, said, the aliens return to test if their equipment may have been flawed in the first experiment. They bring back Simon Pegg and bestow the power this time on his entire town and make it his responsibility to teach and train everyone to use it responsibly, or else. That's actually a damn good sequel pitch.
Sounds all right,
yeah. Simon Pegg has to teach a whole town.
Like a mentor kind of role for him.
An entire town. Think of like the different personalities from like old women to like little kids, teenagers, whatever.
Yep.
All get omnipotent powers and he has to teach all of them. And he's a teacher as well, so
I'm just dying for Edgar Wright to be a director of this
yes,
sort of thing.
he could have salvaged this.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, different life. So thank you everybody for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, all of which you can also leave us a 5-star review, which really helps us to attract new listeners and stay in the top rankings. So please do consider doing that. We're also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the people who would rate us more than 5 stars if they could. You can find all those links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com. And next week, Harry, it's a me choice, I believe.
Okay.
And so this film was really a bit of an insult to the memory of Robin Williams. I'm sorry, but it's true. This is,
yes, definitely.
I feel bad. I would feel bad if this was our last Robin Williams film. So I'm going to counter this with a good Robin Williams film. One of my favourite Robin Williams films. I don't think you've seen it. Maybe you have. But I hope you'll enjoy it.
Sure.
This is a film called The Fisher King.
I've not heard of it.
You don't know it? Cool, great. Go in blind. Good.
Okay.
The Fisher King. It's a good film. It's not a bad film. It's a good film.
Okay. Genre.
Kind of quirky, romantic, comedy, drama. I think it's directed by Monty Python. I think it's Terry Gilliam. Let me just double check. So that's another connection. So it's a perfect choice in that sense. I'm pretty sure it's a Terry Gilliam film. Let me just check. The Fisher King. Yes, it was directed by Terry Gilliam. So this is actually even more perfect as a sequel to this.
Right.
Yeah. So directed by a Python, starring Robin Williams.
Yep.
Came out in the 90s, back when both of those characters were firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
The Fisher King. I really like this film. I've not watched it in a long time, but I really used to enjoy it. Hopefully you will too. Or maybe you'll hate it as much as I hated this, which will also be entertaining in its own way. We'll find out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, you see, you're coming into this with a good energy, expecting that it's going to be a good film.
Yeah.
I noticed you've given a caveat of like I've not seen this in a while.
Yeah, sometimes things don't age well.
But I just want to clarify. I never thought that this film was going to be a good film.
Okay.
I didn't choose it because I thought it was going to be a good film. I thought it was going to be a good time.
Duly noted. Okay. Fine.
Was this film a good time for you?
This podcast was a good time.
Okay.
You know what? You asked me at the beginning. I said I would wipe you out of existence. I take it back. I'd still erase this film. You can stay.
Okay. Cool.
You've redeemed yourself somewhat. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'll take that.
Cool. Great. Well, join us next week, listeners, for The Fisher King.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. And see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Good. Well then shut the fuck